We'd like to recognize and thank all the community members, friends, family who are joined here together as part of the unveiling of our husband and father and grandfather and rabbi. We would also like to take the opportunity to recognize the Consul General of Bulgaria, who was a close friend of my father, the Honorary Marin Dimitrov, and we thank him as well for being here today and for the long relationship that he had with our father. We begin with a prayer that's customary to recite at the cemetery. Ata gibor l'olam Adonai mechayei mitim ata rav lahoshia mechalkel chaim bechesed mechayei mitim berachamim rabim somech noflim verofeh cholim umatir asurim umekayem emunato l'shanei afar michamocha ba'al givurot umido melach melech memit umechayei matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'aman ata lachayot metim. You are eternally mighty, Lord, the reviver of the dead, and you abundantly save. God sustains the living with kindness, revives the dead with abundant compassion, supports the fallen, heals the sick, releases the confined, and maintains faith to those who are asleep in the earth. Who is like you, master of mighty deeds, and who is comparable to you, the ruler who causes death and restores life, and makes salvation sprout. You are trustworthy to revive the dead. The first chapter of Psalms begins as King David praises the one who chooses life and goodness. Ashrei ha'ish asher lo halach v'atzat risha'im V'derech chataim lo amad v'moshav leitzim lo yashav. Ki im b'torat Adonai chefzo b'torato yageh yomam v'layla v'haya ke'etz shatul al palgei mayim asher piryo yiten b'ito v'aleu lo yibol v'chol asher ya'aseh yatzliach v'chen harisha'im ki im kamot asher tidfenu ruach Al kein lo yakumu rishaim b'mishpat v'chataim ba'adat tzadikim ki yodea Adonai derech tzadikim v'derech rishaim toved. Happy is the one who has not followed the counsel of the wicked, nor stood in the path of sinners, nor sat in the company of the scornful. Rather, that one's delight is in the Torah, meditating on it day and night, and will be like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in season, whose leaf will not wither, and whatever that one does prospers. Not so the wicked, who are like chaff that the wind drives away. They shall not survive judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. The Lord loves the ways of the righteous, but the way of the wicked is doomed to fail. At this moment, the 4 grandchildren of Rabbi Asa are going to come forward to uncover the tombstone. Rabbi Chaim Asa, Chaim ben Avraham, beloved husband, Abba and Saba. May 1st, 1931, May 28th, 2014. The 14th of Adar, He was born and passed on the 28th of Adar, the year 5774 of Iyar. Tiyeh Nishmato, Tzrura B'Tzror HaChaim. May his soul be bound in the bound of life, the spiritual life. The tombstone in Hebrew is called a matzeva. Our patriarch Jacob, we're told, erected a monument, a matzeva, for his wife Rachel. And it has become a universal Jewish custom to erect a monument at the grave at some point during the first year after the passing of a loved one. The word matzeva in Hebrew is related to the word mutzav, standing. And in essence, the matzeva really informs all who come to visit what the person stood for. In yesterday's Torah portion, we read of the commandment of Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You shall love your fellow as yourself. The great sage Rabbi Akiva said that this is a vital and important aspect and principle of the Torah. Indeed, during this time of year, we're told a tragedy happened. The great Rabbi Akiva had 24,000 students, and they were held accountable by the Almighty because in some small way they were lacking in fulfilling this commandment of loving their fellow students completely. My father was a beloved husband, Abba and Saba, and he would be happy to know soon a Saba Rabba, a great-grandfather. But the love and caring extended well beyond his immediate family. It really encompassed everyone he met. He personified Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, of really loving everyone and anyone he came in contact with. Whether it be a new immigrant, a struggling student, an elderly, homebound individual, a physically or mentally challenged person, a member of his congregation, or someone he would only meet one time, they were all targets for his immediate caring and love. We could add to the list of the countless individuals, many we know about, and I'm sure multitudes of those that we will never know about. How he touched them through his love, through his caring, his concern. Later on at the temple, we'll have the opportunity to hear and to share how he touched us individually, and how stories we know of how he touched others. I didn't hear this quote from my father, but somehow I think it was probably always at the back of his mind. People don't really care what you know until they know that you care. I think I said that right. Let me try one more time. People don't care what you know until they know that you really care. Part of the message of the Kaddish that the mourners recite is that we are here to fill the void that was left by the person who has left us. And I think it would be apropos for each of us just to contemplate for a moment, reflect the way that my father touched and cared for so many, and that we at this moment should make a commitment, something concrete, something that we're going to do to fill that void. It may be visiting someone who's in need of a visitation, calling someone who hasn't heard from us in a while, making amends with someone who the relationship hasn't been so good. Any way that we can touch someone, encourage someone. I don't think the choice of who or what we do is as important as making that commitment and making that difference and filling that void that we all feel with the passing of my father. May our ma'asim tovim, our good deeds that we do as a community, as individuals, be an elevation for the neshama, for the soul of the Chaim ben Avraham. On the Jewish calendar today is the Pesach Sheni, the second Passover, which was the makeup day in temple times for when people couldn't go to Jerusalem for the first one. Therefore, the traditional prayer of Kel Mala Rachamim is not recited. So we will continue with a psalm, Psalm 15. I believe it may be in the booklets, but don't quote me on it.
What page?
Page 3. And following that, those who are reciting Kaddish will stand to recite the Kaddish. We'll first do it in Hebrew and then in English. Mizmor LeDavid. Adonai mi yagur ba'ohalecha mi yishkon bahar kodshecha. Holech tamin ufoel tzedek v'dover emet bilvavo. Lo ragal al lishono lo asa l're'eu ra'ah v'cherpa lo nasa al krovo. Nivzeh be'inav nim'as v'et yirei Adonai yichabed. Nishba lahara v'lo yamir kaspo lo natan b'neshech v'shochad al naki lo lakach oseh ele lo yimot le'olam. Because the English might be different, I'm going to use the same booklet. Let's say in English, for those who have the booklets, Lord, who shall sojourn in thy tabernacle, who shall dwell upon thy holy mountain, he that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness, and speaketh truth in his heart, that hath no slander upon his tongue, nor doeth evil to his fellow, nor take up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is despised, but he honoureth them that fear the Lord, that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money in usury, nor take a bribe against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. The Kaddish is found on page 8.